Hey, what's up guys? This is Axel. Welcome to Gizaudio. Today's video is going to be about the SeeAudio Bravery 2024. So what comes in the box? It comes with a huge box actually, and it has a few accessories in it, a mouse pad and some other stuff. I will post pictures to show that stuff. And then you get this type of 3 pairs of assless elastic ear tips and 3 types of foam ear tips, and you get a pocketable case that you can carry in your pocket. I don't know exactly what this is, but it's there. And of course there is 3 termination for the cable, including 2.5, and like, I don't know, a small chain to carry something. And then you get this type of cable which is covered in a cloth-like material. It is kind of nice. It doesn't tangle, like you see, it like untangles itself very easily. It has no memory, it stays flat where you put it. The only issue I had with it is it has microphonics above the chin cinch slider. So if you put it in your ear and you're not going to play music and you kind of move this chin cinch slider, it's going to create some microphonics. Even if you tap here, you're going to hear that. The other thing is this termination. It's a screw-in, so you kind of remove it and use the termination that you like. All right, let's talk about the earpieces themselves quickly. The nozzle is on the smaller side of things. It's 5.7 millimeters at the widest point. The earpiece itself is also small as well. Probably most people are not going to have any comfort or fit issues. For me, it fits great. It has great comfort. There are 2 vents, one on each side. I'm not sure if it is for a vented woofer or for comfort. Anyway, it doesn't isolate like old balanced armature drivers. Let's begin with the description of the sound, and I would describe this sound signature as a bright U-shaped. It's very open sounding. It's a very clean type of sound. It's very airy, and there's a lot of emphasis on the treble. And I kind of feel that some people could see this and say it sounds analytical when they hear it, and I kind of understand what they mean because it's a detail focused IEM, and there's a lot of focus on the details, even the micro details. In terms of the bass, I would describe the bass as okay. It's a balanced armature type of bass. It's very fast, it has a quick decay, it's very clean and detailed, but it doesn't carry a lot of power behind it. It's not really strong. It doesn't have that punchiness that you get from other types of driver. It doesn't have that slam. It's not exactly textured type of bass. Like, for example, it's more like one-noted type of bass, if you will. And it's not exactly dynamic sounding as well. Anyway, it is clean and detailed. Moving on to the lower mid-range, you can find from 300 Hertz to around 1 kilohertz, there is this lower mid-range scoop. Now, this scoop actually separates the mid-bass from the mid-range, and it kind of highlights the vocals a bit, makes them feel a bit mid-centric, and I kind of understand that. But the thing is that this also affects the timbre of many instruments, in my opinion. Like, male vocals sound more thin or light or kind of lean. Not only that, like some like instruments as well, let's say acoustic guitars, they lack that, you know, full body presentation. A lot of the note weight is a bit light in comparison to other IEMs, so it's not exactly the good amount, you know, the natural thickness. And as I said, this affects the timbre, but the amount that is there is okay. I would say that. But when we move on to the upper mid-range, I think it's kind of get emphasized more. It's a bit more highlighted and not shouty at the same time, so that's a big plus in my book. Female vocals take a, you know, better emphasis. They're better sounding, in my opinion. They're very highlighted, they're very airy, they're very extended, they're very lively. Excellent instrument separation as well. So all the instruments that live in the upper mid-range kind of sound better. Think violins versus cellos, for example. Like, cellos don't have that depth that I would like, or the thickness, but violins sound great. Female vocals sound like super great, like really well extended and very, very detailed and airy. It's an angelic type of sound, and I kind of like that. Moving on to the treble, this is where it's going to get different. It depends on your tolerances, of course. For me, I kind of felt the treble is a bit too much using the silicone ear tips. Every now and then there will be some instances of sibilance that happened depending on the track I'm using it to, but the treble itself is well done. It has a lot of air, a lot of shimmer, a lot of sparkle. It's really, even the transients, they sound very sharp. The attack is very, very incisive and well defined. A lot of air, like this is an airy type of sound, very, very spacious and open, an airy type of sound. Again, the only issue is that there's too much of it using the silicone ear tips, and some instruments like cymbal crashes sounded a bit too much to me. Too splashy, you could describe it like that. It sounded more not realistic and too much and splashy, and a lot of the treble instruments as well, the high frequency sound, sounded too much to my preference, with some sibilance, as I noted before. Now, this issue could be partially remedied with some foam ear tips, but it affected the details. It made it less. It like made the openness of the sound became less, and like I didn't like that at all. But it tamed down the treble. In terms of technicalities, let's bring up the technical scale. I would put this IEM after the Truth Ear Nova, but still way before the Elysian Pilgrim. It has more detail than the Truth Ear Nova. It's noticeable when I compare them side by side, whereas there's still a big gap between it and between the Pilgrim. Who do I recommend this IEM for? I would recommend this for people who are seeking a small type of ear shell or earpiece, who are seeking like something with a small nozzle for comfort. They want an all balanced type of armature type of bass. People who want a lot of detail, people who want to hear the micro detail in their music. They want to hear a lot of air in their sound. They like open sounding or even analytical sounding IEMs. They like that detail, that a lot of separation, and they like female vocals. This is for people who like female vocals. Also, this is for the anime fans who would like the accessories included as well. That could be a reason for me to recommend it. Who I don't recommend this for? I don't recommend this for bass heads. Not only that, for even bass lovers of all types. If you care about bass that much, if you like dynamic or planar type of bass, you're not going to find it here, even the quality alone. This is also for not people who are seeking a warm type of sound signature, people who are like seeking a full-bodied type of mid-range, people who like some thickness and warmth in their mid-range. You're not going to find it here. Also, people who are treble sensitive, I don't recommend it for them. And with that said, let's begin our comparison segment. This is the Kiwi Ears Orchestra Lite. Both of them are green here. Let's have a comparison, quick comparison. Of course, this is an 8 driver, so it's bulkier. The shell is bulkier, you can see that. And it's kind of understandable. The shell is actually bulkier, but anyway, I have no fit issues, to be honest, with the Kiwi Ears Orchestra Lite. But if you're seeking a smaller IEM, the Bravery might be it. Another thing is the nozzle size. The nozzle size is a bit bigger on the Orchestra Lite. It's 6.5mm, which is slightly on the larger side, versus the 5.7 nozzle diameter on the Bravery 2024. Another difference is going to be the lack of venting on the Kiwi Ears Orchestra Lite, so you kind of like sometimes get that suction effect or negative pressure effect when you use them. It could be uncomfortable for some people. For me, honestly, it doesn't happen a lot and I'm okay with it. But if you're one of those people, like for example, the Bravery has a vent, or maybe another IEM with a vent is going to be a better option. In terms of the sound, the Kiwi Ears Orchestra Lite is a bit warmer sounding. It's a bit softer. It's not as detailed, and it's a bit relaxed. The transients are a bit softer. They're not as sharp or incisive as the Bravery 2024. Bass is more detailed on the Bravery 2024. Both of them are not ideal in my opinion, and both remain BA type of bass. A mid-range, I would say the Orchestra Lite has a more natural presentation. It's a warmer sounding, you know, and that kind of like at least gives it some thick note weight or a bit heavy note weight, which kind of makes a lot of the instruments have body to them. Again, it sounds nice versus the lean presentation of the Bravery 2024 or the thin presentation. In terms of the treble, it's a bit more reserved on the Orchestra Lite. It's a bit tamer. It's a bit safer, in my opinion. If you're looking for the safer option, the Orchestra Lite is going to be that option versus the highlighted and pushed forward treble of the Bravery 2024. Again, both of them are not the ideal treble. I think the Orchestra Lite needs a bit more treble extension, but it's the safer option as there is no sibilance at all when you listen to it. It's a bit of an easy listen. you know, the more you use it, you can use it for a long time. Moving on, this is the SeeAudio X-Critical Yume Midnight. I just wanted to include it to highlight a few differences. Now, the Midnight has a dynamic driver in it, and although the amount looks similar, man, the presentation is totally different. The sound is totally different. You get with the Midnight, you get a lot of good slam, a lot of good punch, a lot of good quality, a lot of rumble, and it's just more enjoyable, although it's not as detailed as the Bravery. Another thing I wanted to mention is the treble. If you felt that the treble of the Midnight is a bit spicy, probably you're going to have the same feeling, if not more, when you listen to the Bravery. So I wanted to include that for those of you who listened to the Midnight before. The Bravery is more detailed than the Midnight, by the way, way more. The last IEM I will include in our comparison is this Softears Studio 4, one of my favorite IEMs ever. It's another 4 all BA IEMs. It has 4 balanced armature drivers. Now, in terms of the bass, you can feel the Studio 4 still BA bass, but it has a bit more texture. There's a bit more detail in it. It's more isolating as well. The mid-range is just perfect on it. It's a bit way more forward, and it's a mid-centric type of tuning. Not for everyone, but it sounds great. It's great for vocal lovers, for those seeking neutrality or a neutral-like type of sound. And the treble is not a lot, just the right amount, and it sounds very realistic. One of the best things about it is the timbre. Like, for me, it sounds very natural and very realistic sounding. Again, it's more detailed than the Bravery, and these are kind of the differences between them. It's unvented, by the way. And let's bring up the final rating. I would give the SeeAudio Bravery 2024 a rating of 3.5 stars out of 5. 3.5 is good. Now, this is a good IEM for many people, if you like that type of sound. 4 stars means very good. 4.5 is great, and 5 is out of this world. You have to try it. You have to give it a listen at least once in your life. 3.5 is good. It has, like, you know, a BA type of bass. It's a good amount of bass, good isolation. Female vocals are great, are extended. Treble could be too much for many people, but maybe some people like the airy and clean, open presentation. It's a very, very detailed IEM, and I give it 3.5 stars, and that concludes my review of the Bravery 2024. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you have any question, leave them down in the comment section below. And until then, see you on the next one, guys. I'm out.